State Institute for Variety Testing and Registration. Before 1953, testing and admitting new varieties for cultivation was not a systematic process. The Romanian and foreign varieties being tested in a small number of locations, in agricultural research stations. The number of new varieties was reduced and their admission for cultivation was a slow process. At that time, there was no specific legislation governing the registration of new varieties, the movement of seeds, and propagating material and copyright. In 1953, by HCM Council of Ministers Decision number 3726, the State Commission for Variety Testing and Approval, CSIOS, was established as a specific technical body of the Ministry of Agriculture and Food. The State Institute for Variety Testing and Registration, ISTIS, is founded under Law No. 57 of 1997. By the reorganization of the State Commission for Variety Testing and Approval of Varieties. The State Institute for Variety Testing and Registration, ISTIS, is the national authority in the field of examining new plant creations in order to register varieties in the official catalog of cultivated plant varieties in Romania, in common catalogs of the European Union, and in order to grant legal protection to such varieties. The registration of varieties of agricultural and horticultural species in the official national catalog allows their cultivation and marketing on the territory of Romania and in the member states of the European Union. The Institute operates based on the provisions of Law No. 266 of 2002 on the production, processing, quality control and certification, marketing of seeds and propagating material, as well as testing and registration of plant varieties, republished as an institution of public interest, financed by subsidies from the state budget and from by revenues for capital expenditures, materials, and personnel. ISTIS is a public institution with legal personality directly subordinated to the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development. Granting legal protection to the varieties is regulated by Law No. 255 of 1998 on the protection of new plant varieties, republished as subsequently amended and supplemented. The institutions responsible for organizing the variety testing are the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, and the State Institute for Variety Testing and Registration. ISTIS is a public institution that has authority over 24 variety testing centers, CTS. In these centers, the examination of the varieties of agricultural and horticultural plants are carried out in field and solar conditions. ISTIS has implemented an integrated management system according to the standards on quality, the environment, occupational health and safety, and information security. In 2001, ISTIS became a member of the International Union for the Protection of New Varieties of Plants, UPOV, and is part of the technical and legal committees of the organization. Following Romania's accession to the European Union in 2007, ISTIS became a member of the Management Board of the Community Plant Variety Office, CPVO. It has administrative cooperation agreements with 5 member states of the European Union and links with similar institutions in the member states, as well as with authorities around the world. The objective of variety testing is to determine the variety status for a new plant creation and to introduce into the culture varieties with valuable biological potential. In order to be considered varieties, new plant creations must be distinct, uniform, and stable, characters determined by the DUS test, and concerning field crop species, they must have agronomic value and satisfactory use, and have a unique name. Along with the 2 main tests, ISTIS carries out the verification of maintaining the initial characteristics of the varieties registered in the official catalog throughout the registration. Preliminary tests verify the behavior of some varieties before enrolling in the official tests. tests under production conditions, and annual verification of the varietal purity of multiplied varieties in the pre- and post-control phase, in the microparks, and in field conditions. In order to fulfill its duties, ISTIS carries out its activity in variety testing centers, which cover the entire pedoclimatic variability in Romania, so that the production potential of new varietal creations is verified in different environmental conditions. The test centers have an area between 40 to 70 acres, necessary for the location and development of experiments in advanced agrotechnics, equipped with laboratory equipment, tractors, and precision agricultural equipment. In these centers, the examination of the varieties of agricultural plants, vegetables with field or solar destination, and ornamental plants is performed. The testing of vine and fruit tree varieties is carried out in test points, located in representative vineyards and orchards, where there is a collection of varieties of the respective species in order to be able to compare them. Varieties of field, vegetable, and vine species are notified for registration in the common catalogs of the European Union. Starting with 2017, the European Commission also publishes a common list of fruit tree varieties. Varieties entered in the national catalog are notified for inclusion in the list of varieties eligible for OECD certification. Registered varieties, deleted varieties, and any changes to the official national catalog are notified to the European Commission for inclusion in the common catalogs of the European Commission. The tests and observations performed in the field are supplemented by analysis and determinations performed in ISTIS laboratories. By amending Law No. 255 of 1998, republished starting with July 1, 2011, the activity of granting the legal protection for the new varieties was transferred from OSIM to ISTIS. The title of protection is granted in accordance with the provisions of the International Union for the Protection of New Varieties of Plants, UPOV, 1991 Act of the Convention. The patent right for the variety belongs to the breeder and can be transferred by assignment. The official system for testing varieties for registration and protection makes it possible to assess all candidate and control varieties under common environmental conditions. This facilitates the control of the interaction between the varieties and the environmental conditions, and it is thus possible to describe the candidate varieties and the reference varieties under the same climatic conditions. The establishment of the reference collection of varieties is done by identifying the notoriously known varieties that can be included in this collection. The reference collection is administered by ISTIS. This requires constant updating, taking into account the evolution of notoriously known varieties, the development of new types or groups of varieties, and the introduction of new genetic material, and the renewal is carried out in relation to each new candidate variety. The complete description of the varieties according to the DUS procedure for establishing the reference collection offers the possibility to detect similar varieties based on the information held in the database. Accurate descriptions provide information for grouping varieties and reducing the number of notoriously known varieties that need to be included in a vegetation cycle in field experiments. Testing allows the introduction into the crop only of varieties that have proven during the years of testing resistance to adverse winter environmental conditions, resistance to drought and heat, and tolerance to attack by diseases and pests. The introduction of new varieties into cultivation encourages innovation in the field of plant variety improvement. The State Institute for Variety Testing and Registration is the link between research and seed production. Variety testing leads to the emergence of competitiveness between domestic and foreign varieties and influences Romanian research for the creation of productive and quality varieties. This develops a functional, free, and competitive market for seeds of officially registered varieties, that ensure not only the needs but also the protection of beneficiaries at European Union standards. This is the basis for the development of the associative system, the collaboration and partnership between the participants in providing seeds from varieties of high productive and qualitative performance. The current regulations lead to the achievement of technical progress by introducing in culture the high-performance varieties, tested and intellectually protected, as well as to the permanent information of the cultivators for the widest possible use of the material from the new varieties. ISTIS activity confirms the results of research undertaken for the creation of new varieties of plant species of economic interests, adapted to specific agricultural conditions in Romania,